Well, now let's look at this old dry stone wall at the right-hand side of the scene. And I'm going to paint that. I'm going to drop some colour in to represent the grass verge with all the weeds, and then take the colours right across the road. So I'm starting with a nice warm glow, a mixture of Oriolin and burnt sienna again. And then I want some more of that rich dark brown colour. Burnt sienna, cobalt blue, and some rose madder again, just to keep that sort of warm purple theme right the way through it. Okay, so I'm starting with the warm orange colour, and I'm painting that all the way along the wall, trying to leave at the moment the thinnest line, about 1 millimetre wide, of white paper, white dry paper. Just bringing that along there. Now, before that dries, I'm immediately going to drop in the dark brown. And I'm going to try and drop it in patches so that we do still get a glimpse of that warm orange colour underneath. That warm orange is almost acting as a theme throughout the whole scene. And I'm doing this with a number 8 brush, which is just fine enough for this work without being too clumsy. And now I've got a number 10 brush, and I'm going to pick up some lemon yellow and paint some foreground in before the wall dries, so that it looks like we've got weeds and foliage sort of creeping up the bottom of the wall. So we have a hard edge for the top of the wall and a soft edge for the base where it meets the grass verge. And those colours can mix in together. Let's take a bit more of that nice green colour I used earlier on. This is Oriolin and cobalt blue. Number 10 brush, just bringing in the grass verge. You'll see the same colours are coming back in time and time again now. And then just like on the left-hand side, there's this rich autumn orange from all the leaves that are gathered in the edge. Oriolin and burnt sienna. Just bringing that right down to where it meets the road. And now a damp clean brush just to soften that so I haven't got a hard edge for when I start to paint the road. Now just before I do the road, I'm taking a number 4 brush and I'm getting some neat lemon yellow. This is fresh out of the tube, no water added to this. And we'll just use that to indicate a few sort of leaves from the foliage and the weeds creeping up the wall. And as I said earlier, you can use lemon yellow against a dark background because it is an opaque colour. There's also quite a lot of dock leaves and nettles and dark coloured foliage in this area, so I've got some more of that rich dark green mix. That's Viridian, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. I'm going to put a bit of that in as well with this fine pointed brush, this number 6 brush. A little bit of dry brush work as well to help suggest foliage. Now it might look strange that we've got a white line across the top of this wall, and obviously this isn't a snow scene, so we don't want white paper there, but I've deliberately left it white so I can put now a touch of orange on top of it, and I have that bright white underneath, and I'm trying to make it look as though there's a glimpse of light just catching the top of this wall. So I'm painting that along with a number 4 brush, trying to let some of the white paper show through it. And then I want to try and create the effect that this end of the wall is much nearer to the viewer. So I'm going to mix a darker brown mix again with burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. Get some richer, darker colour into the wall, especially as we get near to the foreground there. Got to remember that rich, dark tones come forward and lighter tones recede into the picture. Okay, we're finally onto the roadway now, and I don't need to wait for these colours to dry. I can just go straight in. I've got a number 10 brush again, and I need some more of that orange colour, burnt sienna and Oriolin again. And I'm going back to the colour I used at the very beginning, that rich purple colour for the sky, which was cobalt blue and rose madder. And I'm making it just a little bit stronger than it was in the sky, just a slightly stronger mixture. Right, so to start painting the road, I've got a number 10 brush with just clean water on it. And because I'm going to try and leave at this end of the road as it goes out of the scene, almost a glimpse of pure white paper, the lightest colour in the picture. Now I'm introducing the orange gold colour. And I don't want a hard edge where this meets the grass verge. I can soften all that colour in as I paint along down here. And about halfway down the road, I can start introducing the purple colour. The reason I got these mixed and ready was because I don't want to find that I've got a stripe down the middle where the purple meets the orange. I want them to sort of blend in together. And I'm bringing that right to the very foreground. And then again, as I've done previously, a clean damp brush to soften it in to the edge. And I think there's a real rich orange glow from these leaves at the edge, at the very foreground. So I'm just going to take a bit of burnt sienna, and still with the number 10 brush, I'm going to brush that real rich, strong red in. And the final stage, which is to add some shadows, I'll be doing that as soon as this has dried. Now this final stage is very important to complete the picture. I'm going to mix some transparent shadow colours, and it's important to use the same elements that I used in the sky. So I'm going right back to the beginning where I mixed cobalt blue and rose madder to create a nice transparent wash. Then I've got the number 4 brush, and I've got to remind myself that the light is coming from the right hand side, so these shadows from the trees and the foliage come down the grass verge and across the road and up the bank at the other side. And it's not enough to just do shadows from branches, because there's all that mottled, sort of dappled shadow from the foliage. Carrying on bringing these down the lane, right across, and then breaking them up to give the impression of lovely dappled shadow. Of course, as we get nearer to the foreground, the shadows get bigger, so I've now converted to the number 8 brush. And the wall itself would cast some shadow onto the grass verge. So I'll bring that in. Of course, what happens now is we get this nice rich purple colour contrasting with the warm orange colour. And these colours are opposites, so they sort of bounce off each other and increase the intensity. Now I'm getting a number 10 brush and bring that right across the grass verge. Sweep it across the road. No good being timid with these final colours. By darkening the foreground slightly, it actually brightens the middle distance. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the brown colour that I used earlier on behind that wall there, and just suggest a few perspective lines to lead the viewer's eye into the scene, just leading them along the road. And that's completed. We can see with this scene that it may not look exactly like the photograph, but I do feel that I've shown you how to capture the light and the atmosphere, the essence of the scene, if you like, which is the most important part.